Amnesia is tricky. We like to think of memory loss as the kind of thing that can neatly fit into one of two categories. You either lose the memories you already had, or you lose every new one you gain. But, as with all things, our complexity supersedes these simple explanations. Because you see, sometimes memory loss comes from physical trauma, yes, but not all important trauma is physical. Sometimes the memories lost are new, but sometimes they're old, and sometimes they're a combination of the two. And sometimes, just sometimes, our memories are lost, but not forever. These memories aren't destroyed, they're obscured, like computers disconnected from a network or puzzle pieces waiting to be slotted back into place. It starts with a song, then a feeling, hot, sticky, small grains of dust scraping against your sore back, a smell, stale, alive? Something's alive here, but it's only living because something else has... You forget the word. The sun is too bright to see. You have to turn your eyes to the side. You do remember how to do that, right? The song isn't gone, but it's faded now. You hear the bugs instead. Maggots, flies, the like. No breathing, though. Not from you, and not from the man. He's on the ground too, and that's all you really can say about him. Everything else is completely unfamiliar. His face, his clothes, this color, stuck to your clothing and dripping from his abdomen. It's so familiar, although the shade is not one you know.
No! Data found. No data found. What is location? No data found. What is time? No data found. What is nomenclature? Nomenclature. Machine armor suit in of human is false. Machine in of armor human is false. Machine in suit. Machine in suit of human armor is true. Is true? Is true. Machine in suit of human armor is true. M-I-S-H-A. M-I-S-H-A. Misha. Misha.
Well, there's a problem. Looks like this android ain't connected to the data sphere. Our memories are all just jumbled over the place. It was a good idea of you to call us here at Data Sphere Recovery Duo. Hey, David, can you come over here and take a look at this with me?
Yeah, sure thing, Jeff. Have you tried turning off and turning it back on again? You know, that's the first solution of every electronic problem.
Well, here's the thing. I did try turning it off, turning it on again. You know, I did try that a few times. Issue with this android, this thing, is, it really does not like, things getting in its grill, getting in its business. Really, it's a real coincidence we were able to get here in the first place.
Oh yeah, man, the traffic was truly awful, that data sphere, the red lights take forever. So, let's see here, what could be the solution then if we had a rogue non-functional android over here?
What seems to happen here, Din David, it's like, I'm trying to think of his name.
Rupert?
What?
Rupert?
Nah, Rupert sucks, but it ain't Rupert. That Ezra guy. You remember that Ezra guy?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, that Ezra guy. See, this is what happens when you interfere with things that aren't supposed to talk with the data sphere. They become dependent, and the second they're cut off, boom!
That was a real pain in our, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, real pain in our ghostly asses. I got you, Din David.
Yeah.
I know you can't swear with, that swear jar you got at home at night, so I'll do it for you. All right, so what we gotta do is we got this moment in time. This little dead guy seems to be where everything's kind of converging, and where I think we can do some good recovery here. So we're just gonna come in from points on points, try to piece together all these puzzle pieces and see if we can put them in a sequential order. Does that sound good to you, didn't David?
Yeah, I think that apart from this moment on, it seems a little bit less messy than whatever seems before that. So I think this is a good starting point.
Yeah, I agree. This is the best place to start this android story. You awake in a castle. Awake might not be the right word, but your memories weren't, and now they are, and awake is the best word that we have for that. So you're in this castle. It's large and dusty. You can see electricity, little bits and pieces slowly and lazily snake around the banisters of spiraling staircases, resting alongside these glass orbs. You're seated at a chair in front of a long table. It looks like this was used for dining purposes. And in front of you, sitting with all his feet on top of the table, looking down at you, is this fuzzy gray older boy. He's wearing a steampunk mashup of leather crisscrossing belts and dozens of pouches with miscellaneous antiques. These antiques include a pair of goggles that illuminate his eyes, secured next to these long ears with lightning bolts down them. But what you see first is his mouth. It droops at the side, and a large tongue slips out through the sides where there's no longer any teeth. And this old dog man looks at you, and he says, "Well, I'm glad to see you're awake. What's her name?" He cocks his head to the side. "What was that?" His head cocks even further to the point where it's like almost 90 degrees now. Hashim? Well, I've never heard the name Hashim before.
And they're going to be pointing at themselves.
And that's actually when you realize what probably the issue is, because you go to point at yourself, and your hand instead goes backwards and slams against the table. You've been talking backwards this whole time, Misha.
I figured that was going to be the case. They will frown, and then they will, in their head, then move their hand backwards, which is forwards, and go, Misha, Misha, Misha.
Misha? Misha?
Yes, affirmative, Misha.
Misha! And he starts thumping his leg against the table. He's real excited. Misha, what a lovely name! My name is Face. My name is Face.
Face. Misha will point at him. Face. Misha. Face.
Face and Misha. Face and Misha.
Misha will also repeat that.
And he starts running around the table real excited.
Misha will do so as well. Just slowly, like a toddler, just trying to follow. Face. And Misha.
And FaZe will eventually calm down and say, Misha, well, usually people have full names. Do you have a full name, Misha?
My full nomenclature is machine in suit of human armor, just a very intelligent rather system. No, negative. Just a rather very intelligent system. Affirmative. Just a rather very intelligent system. Jarvis, Misha Jarvis.
Oh, Misha Jarvis. Good. I'm Face, just Face.
Just face. Salutations, just face.
Salutations. What about friend? What is friend's name? And you see FaZe go up, and he goes and he scritches something connected to you, like under like the ear, and you see this long purple scarf.
Oh, it has been there since the beginning.
Connected around you, and it's just kind of like it acts like a dog who's being scritched under the ears. It's really enjoying it.
I assume Misha had not noticed that before?
No, Misha had not noticed the scarf.
Okay, Misha will look at it and be like, soft. Friend? What is friend? Friend is soft.
Well, friends are not always soft, but friends are good. And this friend was very protective of you when I found you. And he mimics, he and the scarf mimic together. The scarf seemed to be like, kind of in this like defensive pose, like if someone put their arms in front of somebody else.
That's so
Almost like whatever happened, it just like jumped in front of you, like someone taking a bullet. Misha Jarvis! Just Mr. President, but with that instead.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, Misha will say protective, and then look at it and kind of start to grasp what it means. I thank you. It feels nice. I don't recall this soft friend, but I like it.
The scarf just like cuddles in closer.
Oh.
And then FaZe perks up. Wait, you might be going places. I don't want to get in your way. Where were you going that got you in the way of the infamous Carl?
God. Misha will frown and say, where? No data found. I don't know where I was going.
Oh, you didn't know? Neither did I. That's how I ended up here. You can stay here too if you want.
That sounds nice. Thank you, friend just face. And thank you, warm, soft friend.
Yes, friends. Let me show you where friends live.
Yes.
And so just FaZe bounds off.
Misha will follow.
And he shows you all throughout this place. It's called Henrenheide Castle. Henrenheide Castle used to be the home of this group FaZe would talk about. It was called the Deocean. They were interested in recovering the souls of those that have departed. This Kal that he keeps talking about was actually why he came to pick you up. He mentions that the Kal was recently... You can't recognize the word that he says, but something recently happened to him. And so FaZe brought in the Kal, and he saw you alongside and brought you in as well. And during the speech, not a whole lot interesting happens, but you do have one interesting conversation, which is when he brings up the souls.
Mm.
Now that's a weird one. That's a word that you haven't heard before. Like, what is that?
Oh my god.
And FaZe tries to explain, but it's difficult. He's like, well, soul is, it's me, but not like body me, like what makes body me function.
What makes you function?
Yes, what makes me function. It like, there's me, and he points to himself, and then there's soul, and he points kind of all around him, trying to explain what he is.
Soul? Which I will try to feel around them, to like around FaZe to see if they can feel it. Touching, like try to feel it, because personal space is not a thing.
It controls us like, and he picks up a puppet that's a marionette on strings. Like, hand here is soul, and this, and he points to the puppet, is us.
Oh, I do not like that.
It's not scary. We are still soul. We are hand and puppet.
Oh. I do like that.
They always said, what was it? Eyes. Oh, eyes are windows to the soul.
Windows?
Yes.
Which I will point to the windows.
Yes, windows. You can use windows to see outside. You can use eyes to see soul. That's how I knew you were alive. because you have a very bright soul. And he's looking at one of your eyes.
Oh boy.
Which you can see in a bit of banister around you. You can see you have two eyes. One is gray, and the one he's looking at is red.
Oh boy.
And shining brightly.
Oh boy. Misha will approach their face into the reflection to kind of see if they can see inside their, eye to magnify it. Soul. Where is soul? I have soul?
And give me a roll for a quick second, actually.
Oh boy. As I said, I tested this die and the first roll was a 1. So here we go. Oh boy, hang on, I didn't see that. That was a 4. That was a 4.
You look in closer and closer and you're trying to see, but all you can see is the reflection of yourself. It's just polished banister. Mm-hmm. It's not fancy, and also this place is real dusty. FaZe talked about how there were a bunch of other people that lived here. He's the only one here now, so you can't see a whole lot. You can only see yourself and you can see FaZe. But for a brief second, in the center of your eye, you could swear you see someone else. Didn't David, they still talking philosophy and nonsense?
I think so. They've done that for the past hour or so. Do we really have to recover every single minute of this? I mean, it's really boring to just watch every single thing.
Listen, I don't know, man. The job said, get them all back, recover the memory, get them all connected. You think you can just, if it all sounds the same, it doesn't matter what order it's in, right?
Yeah, I think we're being underpaid for this job, honestly. Maybe if they paid me a bit more, I would put more effort, but I have a family of 4.
Oh yeah, man, those little data sphere static life spirits, they can be a big handful, can't they?
Yeah.
Man, it is tough to be a parent in this hellish landscape of things colliding into each other all the time.
It truly is.
Anyways, just slam it together. I'm sure nobody's gonna be able to tell the difference, right?
Yeah, it's okay. Who's gonna look for it anyways,
Yeah, just slap it together and see what happens. So, Misha woke up about a month before episode 1. This time with FaZe accommodates for about half of it. So we've got 2 weeks to deal with, and I want to talk about the first week for a second. So for your first week, you spent time with FaZe, and you spent time with this warm thing, which eventually, after much thought, you and FaZe figured out was called a scarf.
Yes.
And by much help, I mean you and FaZe and the scarf opening a dictionary and pointing to the word scarf. You were a bit confused at first because the scarf actually pointed to the word on top of it, so you thought it was a scabbard for a while.
A scabbard? Oh no!
But you eventually, you figured out it was scarf. It was a lot of work. But what was this month with, not this month, what was this first week with FaZe like?
Well, at first it was confusing. Everything was both new and familiar at the same time, and so it was very weird to kind of rediscover things in a way. But it was actually, we didn't have the word for it at first, but it was actually really fun because they weren't alone. They had 2 people that they labeled as friends, and so they had a lot of interesting conversations with FaZe and sometimes the scarf by mimicking and stuff like that. And eventually Misha also was able to piece words together better by learning new things, and so yeah, they didn't leave the castle. The castle was, Misha considered that their whole world, and they were fine with it. Every day there was something new to discover, this is a rug and things like that.
And FaZe was very excited to share it with you. He told you all sorts of stories. The Deocean had a whole lot of peculiar folks who just came in. He would talk about this wraith, this big cloak scary figure named Gabby. He talked about these 2 terrifying women that came in and just absolutely just stripped the place bare and stole everything from it. He talked a lot about humans and a lot about adventurers, and every story you heard about them, they were just so peculiar. They were all so strange. But eventually, after about a week, he stopped having things to tell you. And it was also sometimes kind of sad because FaZe would disappear for periods at a time.
Aww.
He would like walk through the big 20-foot tall doors at the front of the castle, and then he would just disappear from existence.
Oh.
And it felt like a short while, it felt like an eternity, and then he'd come back, and it'd be like he was always there. What I'm describing is the experience of my dog Charlie whenever we leave.
Yes.
Misha has not learned object permanence yet.
They have not, no.
And one day, FaZe actually offers as he leaves, and he sees you just look all sad again. Leg rash.
What?
He points to the door, leg rash. And he starts bounding around the door.
What is?
Leg rash is the town beneath the castle.
Town?
Yes, I need to get things from town. Do you want to come?
Misha will look really anxious at that. I do not know. What town is it? What is in town? Why do you go there?
Lots of things in town. And you can get lots of things with these. And he takes out 4 shins, which is the starting number of shins an Anno gets, and he hands them to you. You give these, and you get things. Like books. Books have stories.
Oh, I like stories. There are more stories than your stories?
Yes.
Oh, and are there more just FaZe in town?
No. Much. And he has a 1,000-yard stare. Much scarier. So you see what looks like FaZe, except it never stands up, and it has a skull for its head.
Oh. Okay.
You are in the middle of Legrash, the dusty town beneath Henridhyde Castle. You see a variety of people milling about. They look a lot like that man that was laying on the ground next to you, except they're moving around. They're much more lively, going from place to place.
Oh.
And sometimes walking alongside them, much like FaZe walks alongside you, are these small things. They look like FaZe, but they have these skulls for head. They're called broken hounds.
Oh, what?
They're a usually untamable kind of dog. So far, Rhubarb, which you aren't familiar with, and Legrash seem to be the only places that can tame it. And Legrash doesn't seem to tame the broken hounds as much as they seem to coexist alongside.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So anyways, you are sitting next to a dusty water fountain that Misha would not know was a water fountain because water has not poured out of it in the past 15 years. Beneath it is one of those areas where kids are supposed to run around and, water shoots up.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just dust and bugs.
Yeah.
But the kids are running around and they're having a blast with the dust and bugs. FaZe has said he has some things to take care of, so he's actually left you. And so it's just you and the scarf sitting here in the center of the town with 4 shins to spend and more people than you've ever seen in your life. What is Misha up to?
So at first, when FaZe leaves, Misha is just going to kind of like reach for him, trying to like go with him. And then maybe FaZe is like, no, wait here or whatever. And so Misha's just going to like stand like really still in the fountain, just like moving their feet, like their legs back and forth, like just waiting like that. But like now that they have a moment to like breathe and look at things, they will realize that there are a lot of people around and that they seem not only to match the description that FaZe has said about like humans, but also, they have that one weird starting memory, even though they look more lively than that person. So Misha will point at like the kids that are running or whatever, or like at each of the individual people, and then look at the scarf and be like, humans.
And the scarf, it doesn't have a head, but what would be its head? The scarf nods its head, as meanwhile there's just one of the mothers of the children just looks at you and shakes her head.
And Misha will alternate between like being real still and sitting, and then be like, humans, and then like again, like kind of restraining themselves from going. But eventually they are going to be too curious to do other things, so they're going to stand up while still being like humans and approach the fountain that's shooting bugs with the
So you run into the fountains, and as of episode 1, a lot of what's going to happen during this memory episodes, Misha didn't remember.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming back to Misha as we present it to the audience now. But this feeling always kind of stuck with you. It's probably part of the reason Misha loves bugs so much.
Yeah.
Because as Misha got in, the kids didn't skip a beat. They started playing alongside you as you ran around and got the bugs in. At one point, Misha was a little alarmed when they saw one of the bugs and went to shake their hands, and a kid like grabbed your hand and was like, "No, we have to keep them safe. Mama says we have to keep the bugs safe and secure," and helps you keep your hands still to watch the bug crawl around.
Misha will watch like really, really amazed by the bug and be like, "Yes, it's beautiful. We must keep it safe." And then I want them to do a little Rapunzel type scene, or like Elizabeth from BioShock, just like spinning around the bug fountain with the kids.
And they all spin around you. You start singing a song together.
Something like, "Keep the bugs safe."
Keep the bugs safe and sound, and we go all around to keep all the bugs safe forever.
Yes.
There is this nagging feeling that, I don't know, it almost feels wrong. Like, a kid who's doing something they shouldn't be doing, but it's too fun to stop.
I want to say maybe occasionally when they have that feeling, they will like stop for a second and kind of like look around guiltily, but not knowing why. But then they're going to just proceed doing it. Like when they have the kids like singing and stuff.
And at one point, out of the corner of your eye, you can see a handful of parents
Oh, God.
just start going towards you, ready to kick your ass or interrogate you.
Oh, boy.
But Misha does not notice this, because Misha hears something that they feel deeply familiar with, but they haven't heard in full force for a long time. Music. From off in the other side of the town, you hear this haphazard clashing of like horns and cymbals, like a bam, bam, bam. I'm gonna play music in the background.
Misha will then look at the source of that, motion to the kids, and then point over there and say, "What is?" And then I want to use my Google thing for the first time to see what that is.
Yeah, so you look and you hone in on the source of the music, which is this colorful pop-up stand with what looks like candy cane coloring. And as you look it up, you see an advertisement, just the first page, because you can't see too much detail, of Dr. Thistle's mystical, magical instruments of wonder and magic. The magic is said like 5 different times all throughout. Like it's like www.magic.music.magic.com.
Nice.
And it seems to be this wonderful, amazing, world-bending experience of bringing people together through the joys of the most exquisite and expensive music that can be offered.
Misha will just start walking towards there, being like repeating, like if there's like a commercial that is repeating things or saying things, Misha will just repeat it, like the wonderful Thistle magic and all of that. But like they will repeat only like every third word because they are like excitedly walking towards it. So like Thistle, magic, magic.
And as you get closer, you hear more of the song.
Welcome to the shop at Magic Sound. Wonders and riddles that make you sit in awe and whistle. Wow, I'm in the shop at Magic Sound. What can I say, but I'm happy to make your acquaintance. You can call me Dr. Thistle. Instruments abound at Magic Sound. Slide horns and French horns and horns. If you're feeling frisky, everything is found at Magic Sound. Real or fake or mystical, it doesn't matter. You'll be feeling tipsy like fresh whiskey.
What if I've been told my voice is shrill and wicked?
Try keyboards or drumming, just always stray from humming.
I get it. It's all aesthetic.
Assuming your wallets.
Open, my heart's crying to belt out with music.
Harmonicas at least allow your breath to release.
This all sounds fun. I would like one. I'll pay.
You'll pay?
I'll pay.
You'll pay! Come up to the shop at Magic Sound. We sell and resell anything that will make a racket. You'll pay right away. Give me something to line my jacket. Come now, you cash cows, to Magic Sound.
And then the song ends, and you just hear a...
Misha will just start doing that.
Boo! Get off the stage! as just like a few people are hesitantly clapping and the rest are just booing and picking up sand and throwing it in Dr. Thistle's face.
Well, I want to say that if Misha doesn't know what that means, Misha is going to do the same. They're going to think that that is a way to, like, demonstrate that they like the thing, so they are going to be like, boo, boo, and picking sand and throwing it, while also clapping, so they're going to, like, clap, and then grab sand and throw it, and then clap again.
And you hear as this person is just making like weird, like dancing pained expressions and eventually just shuts the curtains in front of them. And as everyone disperses and you're the only one there, they poke their head out, looking around. It's like, well, what are you still doing here?
Misha will say, boo! I enjoyed your performance.
Well, that's odd.
So yeah, they will also like be like looking really closely because Misha will realize that it's the first time they're actually looking at a human really up close. Like, yeah, the kids were there, but like actually like they're in their face like that. And so they're going to like pat the head of this. Yeah.
How peculiar. But I suppose it's a peculiar we can sell to everyone. And they throw open the curtains and you just see them and a horde of tiny gummy people, which are just marching along, hup, 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 with a series of instruments. So what would you be interested in? The slide horn, the French horn, the horn. I assume you heard the lyrics to the song, correct?
Misha will say, lyrics? Yes! And then they will start singing the song that they were singing.
Ah, yes, and very investigated by indeed. Now, tell me, do you want an instrument that is unique?
Unique. Definition: one of a kind? Unique?
Yeah, unique, one of a kind, nothing else like it.
Yes, I would like a unique instrument. I enjoyed your song from you, unidentified human. Unidentified human, what is your nomenclature?
The name's Dr. Thistle, and let me tell you this thing right here. And they pick up the slide horn. This ain't unique at all. Get it out of here. They throw it to the back. Do you want something that is magical?
Magical Dr. Thistle. It's in the lyrics. Yes.
And then they pick up the French horn and they just snap it on their legs. Well, you don't want this either. This right here, this is garbage. This is not even good in the right hands. But finally, you want something that's unique? You want something that's magical?
Yes.
Do you want something that can smooth the emotions of everyone around you?
Yes. Do you have that? I want that.
Well, I have it for you, and let me certainly tell you that is not this right here. This horn? This horn can go on away.
Well,
and they just throw it up into the stratosphere.
Why do you break your other instruments?
Oh, because I'm going to tell you the secret right here. This is a secret just between you and me. These things, people don't want things that are unique, that are magical, and that soothe emotions. They want redundant things that are bad and make people feel bad. But you know what? You are like me, pal. We have a very different way of seeing about things. You understand what I'm saying here?
Oh, I am like you? I am like human.
You and I?
Yes.
We're the same, but we're not human. We're something better. We're musicians.
Musicians? Definition unknown. What is?
Oh, it's not something I can explain. It's something you gotta feel. Here, I found the perfect thing for you. Let me go get it. And you just hear a bunch of like noises as Dr. Thistle goes back and reaches into what you don't notice at the time, but what we would recognize as a giant Tupperware box filled with a bunch of cheap, identical-looking, dusty old kazoos.
Oh. Yes.
And Dr. Thistle pulls one out and says, this right here, this is a kazoo. Only the best instrument. And honestly, I'm selling this for a steal. You can't find better prices than you would find right here.
A kazoo! It's beautiful. And then they will just try to go and grab it because they didn't get the part about selling.
goods or services? How many shins you got for something like this?
Shins? Oh, shins! Yes, shins! And then like they will excitedly pick like the money that FaZe gave them and show all 4 shins and be like, shins!
What, four shins? Only 4 shins? You're trying to con me? You're trying to make a con out of the con man? You're gonna be ridiculous. I'm the biggest con man, right? You're not gonna become my this is ridiculous. And then they look around at all the gummy people around them who are just like, you can hear like a gurgle in all their stomachs. Well, I suppose even a con group like ourselves needs to eat, so 4 shins for the best experience you'll ever have. Sounds like a deal. And as soon as it happens, the hand closes, zips back into the cage, the curtains close, the doors outside the curtains close, and the whole thing wraps up and just looks like it's a little box that cannot be entered.
Oh no! Misha will confusedly just like try to peek inside and be like, musician, human, thank you.
And there's no response except for a single swinging sign. Woo, 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 woo. That just has on it no refunds.
Magical unique instrument that can soothe emotions. Information saved. And then, yeah, I guess actually, yes, can I have Misha look up how to play a kazoo?
Yes, but you get a GM intrusion with it.
That's fine.
Because you can only look up one thing a day. And at tier 1, you couldn't look up how to do something.
Oh, that's true. Okay, never mind.
But this was a limitation that Misha started to feel as time went on. Now, in these early stages, your abilities feel a lot more open to the data sphere.
God, I made a mistake.
So you go down and you look at the kazoo and you just start thinking, yeah, how do I play this kazoo? You start to hear the sound, so it works like it normally does. You hear static and you start to hear some kazoos playing. You probably hear a few people going like, ew, gross. But amidst all this, you start to hear this faint voice calling out to you. You can't make out what it says, but you can hear it. And it sounds angry, it sounds scolding almost, like you get that feeling again of, I shouldn't be doing this. No, like a kid who's getting scolded, but now you have an entity to it. But then it all fades away. Hey, you know how to play the kazoo now. That's neat.
Oh boy. I'm just saying that split second of scoldingness, they will drop the kazoo. Like, you know, and just like they're discovered doing something that they're not supposed to, and they will throw it. And then they will realize they throw it, and they'll be like, okay, like, why did I do that? And then they'll pick it up.
And the scarf, as you pick it up, the scarf will like brush off the dust from it.
Oh, thank you, friend scarf. And then, yeah, they will just blow on it. And this is gonna be like that, like, note just going at first. And then, like, maybe as, like, they're going to do slight variations as they're walking around town, just like... And then, like, 3 notes... until they're just like... That's not what I meant. It's not a Christmas special, Kyle.
And Joker got away. Hey!
Yes.
And suddenly, as this kazoo music is playing, you have an idea. You think, oh, the kids would love this. This Sue's music. And you know, those folks seem pretty upset for some reason that we're by the kids.
I was actually going to suggest that. I was going to say that the next thing Misha was going to do was test it. So they would just go back there.
Perfect. And as you're going over, are you just playing the notes, or are you trying to like come up with a song?
Yeah.
Like what's your game plan?
So now that they know how to do it, then they will try and come up with a song as they approach the kids and the parents. Well, mostly the parents, because the kids seem pretty happy. And so they are going to play the one song that they know in this time, and it just comes to them. And it is, of course, the Titanic theme, because that is the one song that Misha knows. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, I always want you to play kazoo.
Oh my god. Okay.
Why are you doing this? You shouldn't be doing this. Wait, what? No, you shouldn't. This is not right. This is wrong. It's not like there's anyone there for you to play to anyway. And yeah, you can see, you could have sworn you saw those parents earlier. They're not there anymore. They're gone. All you see is a brief, like, reddish haze over where you remembered them being.
Misha will frown and stop playing almost immediately, put their hand over where they were.
And as you go to do that, you keep looking around, and you can hear the kids, so maybe they're not there either. Just more mist.
Hello? Humans? Face?
FaZe, right, FaZe is around. You remember FaZe went over that way. Where are the buildings? Where's the fountain? Where's the bugs? Where is... Well, Dr. Thistle, right? Dr. Thistle would know how to fix this. Oh, wow, where's Dr. Thistle? Where's anything that isn't red haze?
Where? Where is FaZe? Where is humans? Where am I? Where is Misha? Where is Misha? Where is Misha? And then they're going to try and look at the scarf. Is the scarf still there? Is the scarf in there?
Give me a mic check.
Oh man. Okay. That was not expected, but let's see. Oh, that will be an 18, so I still got it a bit sometimes.
So, Misha, you bump into something you can't see. It feels solid and hard as you hit one of the pieces of the mist, and you stumble back a few feet, but keep your bearings. You were distracted trying to look for the scarf. And then as you stumble backwards, you feel something hit you in the back, right by your shoulder, and something else hit your front, and you keep being barraged as if these forces keep kind of like stumbling into you. This red haze, even though it's just a haze, seems to be physical and seems to be, every time you run into it, you seem to be hitting something physical.
Stop! What? Lost? Misha is lost. Misha is scared. FaZe.
And as that happens, some of the red haze goes towards you, and you just hear a voice from it say, "Yes, you better be afraid, Red Eyes!" And suddenly, out from this mist, a woman just emerges, grabs you by the scarf,
Oh no.
and slams you against another bit of red mist, which disappears and reveals a wall.
Oh god.
The rest of the mist stops, and suddenly it all comes back, and you just see all the other buildings, the fountain, and all the people who have just stopped and are looking at you and this very thin, tall woman that slammed you against the wall.
Is she like a physical?
Yeah.
Like is she there?
She's physical. Everyone is here. They were hidden by this red mist, and now they are back.
I see. Okay. Misha will be too shocked to do anything, so they will just be like curled in a little ball, grabbing their scarf, kind of like keeping it close, and they're going to look at this lady and say, "Why?"
What was that name you said, Red Eyes? What was that? Was that FaZe? Was FaZe the name that you said?
FaZe? Yes.
Of course, FaZe would be harboring a...
Oh.
And FaZe bounds out and is like, what's going on?
FaZe!
Oh, Misha, oh, Miss Andre, what's going on? Oh, you know perfectly well what's going on, FaZe. I can't believe you would be harboring the person that... Our dear Carl Decker!
Oh my god.
And she takes you and she throws you at FaZe, and you both stumble to the ground. Now, FaZe, it's time to do the right thing and give that creature up. No. There's plenty of people had it out for the Carl. Misha's been nothing but kind and good.
Define word. Define.
Come on, Misha. We must go. And FaZe gets up and hear a little whimper as one of his legs kind of like hurts, but he keeps walking as he carries you back.
Oh no.
And he and the scarf pulling on you both escort you back as you hear the woman just yell after you. You can't keep that thing locked up forever, FaZe. One day we will all come and we will get justice for our dear old Carl.
As Misha has been dragged away, like they do want to walk away, but are also going to be looking back at her, and they're going to say once in a while, define word, define word, define murder.
Hello and welcome to the announcement break for Quest Friends episode 56, Misha's Memory, part 1. I am Kyle, your GM, and something you might just not have known is that our outro song happens to be Hitoshio by Miracle of Sound. Something else you might not know is that if you subscribe to us at patreon.com/questfriends at a $5 level or above, you get the opportunity to have a shout out by an NPC of your choice. And today's shout out comes from John Langley. Now, John wanted to know how Sarah, that's me, was doing in my efforts to figure out left triangles. And John, come on, I figured it out like 10 episodes ago, okay? You just take a triangle and you bend it around. Oh no, that's just a right triangle in reverse, isn't it? Now I understand what Tritters was trying to tell me. John, so I thought I had it figured out, but now I'm not particularly sure anymore. Well, maybe if I bent it over multiple times, but that's just the original right triangle again. Maybe 3 times is what I need to do? Or maybe something else. What if I got one of those artifacts that just broke the and while bones of Sarah reality in is order to busy work figuring out whatever it is she's figuring out, I'll just say thank you again, John, for subscribing to us on Patreon. I really appreciate your support. It not only helps the show sustain itself, but it also helps us move towards adding new additional stuff we wouldn't be able to do otherwise, such as something you'll see next week. But if you want something else on patreon.com right now, if you subscribe at the $3 level or above, you'll have the ability to download original songs, such as Dr. Thistle's Magic Sound, which I will be uploading tomorrow, with credits for my 2 vocalists, who I want to point out turned around their vocals in 48 hours, which I'm still blown away by. Dr. Thistle was performed by JoJo, who you can find on twitter.com at funkmclovin or on YouTube at funkmclovin's music hole. Our other vocalist who played that kind of witch lady is Andrea Davidson, who you can find at Andrea J. Dave, D-A-V, on Twitter. And instead of trying to figure out how to spell the things I said, I would just check the show notes below where you can find links to both of them. I'm actually going to pick on Andrea again because she is one of our 3 name pool folks for this episode. Now, the name pool is anyone who tweets or tumblers out at us with the hashtag QuestFriends. And when someone does that, I will take their name, and if I need something to name like an artifact or a person or a place, I'll often use that name pool to pull inspiration. For example, Miss Andrie is not only a terrible pun, but her name also actually comes from Andrea Davidson. Dr. Thistle comes from Thistle, or is IZ, _that_right on Twitter. And finally, Din David comes from DN David, or Baskerhound13, also on Twitter. A lot of folks came from Twitter today, but I am genuinely checking Tumblr as well. Alright, so I've shilled our musicians, I've shilled our Patreon, and I've shilled our name pool. But in my defense, it is because all of you are actually interacting with the show, which is not an invitation to stop. It's amazing to be able to talk to folks, and I'm actually still working through all of the results from the 2020 survey, which I will be compiling and then releasing the results, as well as reaching out to those who actually won the prizes from the raffle within the next couple of weeks. For now, though, you don't need to worry about any of that. You just need to worry about finishing this episode and getting ready for our next one, which will release on Monday, May 11th. I will see you then. gotta say, David, this kazoo thing is pretty nifty.
Its presence seems to be where the connections of these memories seem a bit stronger, don't you think?
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree. Taking a look at these memories, it seemed that, a lot of them we had to slot back together right here, but the memory of that song and just, the music did seem to stick around a lot better than the rest. Who can blame them? This thing is amazing. You can make any song with this?
Yeah, no, it's pretty nifty. I mean, I am not a fan of the sound myself. I am more of a fan of the clarinet, but
of course you would be a fan of the clarinet, D&D David, you pompous ass. I say that lovingly, of course.
I know, Jeff. No harm intended. I know. You're always teasing me with these things.
Aiden David, you were the one who took this job, right?
I mean, took it as a big of an exaggeration. I was kind of placed into it, I did not originally apply for this, but so it is what it is. They just told me we have a position for you. You put me in this thing. It pays the bills. Barely.
Why does our employer even want us putting these memories together, hooking them back up to the data sphere? It's just, a rogue android. No one cried when Ezra died.
I don't know what makes them special, honestly. I mean, but the last time I asked questions, they took out half of my salary, which, it made me have pretty much no salary, because I really don't have that much.
Yeah, it's true. Good thing we can make our own salaries out of nothing, just like this kazoo.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Man, it would suck to be saddled to that planet. It's a quiet night. It always is a quiet night when the Iron Wind is around. Iron Wind is a thing you've heard about from FaZe. It's this big force that lives in the beyond, the space past the mountains where you are. You're in this kind of ravine in the middle of a mountain range. It's not usually something to worry about. People to the west of the mountains never think about it, but occasionally on a very strong night, the wind will make its way all the way to Henrenheide Castle in the town of Legrash. It's not a loud wind, it's pretty silent. And its danger makes everything doubly quiet, because no one, save for the really determined, will be out at night. It's been a week since you went to the town of Legrash. Neither you nor FaZe, whose leg has been injured, have been back to the town since. It hasn't been terrible. FaZe bought a couple of books, and even though he can't read them, you were able to look up how to read them in the data sphere, so more stories of adventurers and the like, because those seem to be the ones you really latched onto.
Mm-hmm.
But FaZe is asleep, no one is stirring, and every book has been read. So you're back to another one of your nights. What do Misha's nights look like?
Well, it's tough because the Iron Wind is there. So
is Misha trying to look out the window to see the Iron Wind?
Yes.
I love it. And it is spectacular. There, you can't hear the Iron Wind, but you can see it. It's just making this Technicolor show outside, because the Iron Wind can change anything into anything. And so it's just pops of reds and greens and yellows and occasionally luminous lights. At one point you see it just create a bunch of fish, which are just flopping on the ground.
Whatever. It's fine.
They're fun fish. They're actually really, really tiny and invisible, save for some black stripes on their sides.
Okay, I hate you so much.
So you're just watching the Iron Wind?
Yeah. So the nights are usually what Misha both likes the most and the least so far. At first they really liked them because it gave them time to explore things more, but on the other hand, even though they were with the scarf, it still made them feel a bit lonely, but especially they make them feel a bit anxious sometimes, because usually that was when they tended to reminisce about quote-unquote past things, and specifically, certain things that they weren't quite sure what they were and what exactly they meant, but they just knew that they were something that they didn't like thinking about, and they always drifted towards that during the night.
Yeah, it was hard. I'm sure it also didn't help that FaZe got hurt for something Misha was blamed for.
Oh, Misha was absolutely... They have never been that worried for another person before, for another... Like, their friend got hurt, and so, yeah, they actually had been taking care of Face as much as they could. So, like, you know, they were trying to look up exactly how to take care of an injured leg and looking for, like, you know, rags or whatever, and, like, stuff to keep, like, oh, you have to keep your leg up and stuff like that. And try to make food, which did not go well, but they meant it well, like soup, and then just have, like, a weird water with, like, weird things floating on it, and just, like, that do not go in a soup, like a full tomato or something, like, soup! Eat sick or something.
Just a tomato
Yeah.
in water.
Floating in a bowl of water. Soup.
Which, considering that leg rash is always in a state of drought, is in many ways impressive that you got the water, but then you've ruined it with moldy tomato.
Yeah, it was definitely not a great tomato. One of those soggy tomatoes that nobody wants ever.
And yeah, it's you and the scarf is just sitting there, wrapped around you, sometimes just like comfortingly petting the side of your face.
Oh, and they love that. They have, like, whenever they, like, try to pet the scarf also, and occasionally they thank the scarf. So they don't know exactly where it came from, but they know that the scarf means well, so they always, like, try and make sure that it feels recognized and loved as well.
Yeah, the scarf is so strange. You don't think you've been with it long, but it feels like an old friend.
Mm-hmm.
And you're distracting yourself with the Iron Wind, but eventually you can see that the changes are starting to move somewhere to the left, and it looks like you have to go to a window down a few hallways in order to see more of it.
Misha will sigh and try and see if they can go there to keep seeing it, because they don't want to. They don't want to try and think about things, but as they move, they're going to check on Face just to check that he's okay.
You walk past Faze's bedroom. In it, you see this giant, very nice bed, and he is contentedly sleeping at the foot of it.
Oh.
And you continue to move on past all the things you've seen. You've gone to the library, which admittedly there's not much left of it. You've gone past the cafeteria, the dining room, and you walk down to a hallway Misha hasn't been to.
Oh, that's weird.
When the Deocean used to function, they used special areas to do their work, to try to help revive these souls. And Misha has never before been down the operation hallway. You turn the corner and you see this hallway. It's pretty basic. It's kind of got that castle aesthetic, but it's a little more sterilized. And then you hear cards.
Cars?
You hear cards.
Interesting.
And the space around you shakes, and you don't see the castle exterior anymore. You see a much more haphazard put together. It's the hallway looks like it's made out of like mesh and wires. It's still like a hallway to some operation chambers, but it looks different. It's got wiring and wood, and looks much more makeshift than what they've got here. It looks like someplace you know. And it looks like someplace you do not like.
Oh no.
And far in your distance, you see, wearing this giant ratty lab coat, a man emerge from one of the end corridors. And you don't like that either. And so you turn to look around, and you go down, and you see that the hallway seems to be extending all the other ways.
Oh no.
And as you turn around and you start going down that hallway, at the end of the other hallway, you see another figure emerge. This one seems to be floating. It almost looks like a still mannequin. And somewhere at the end of it, you can see color somewhere on the face, but you can't make out where it is. It's like that color that you saw when you saw the guy when you woke up, but it's a different shade, and you don't like that color either. Which part of the hallway does Misha run to?
What is this decision? What is this choice? I do not like either of these two choices. Like, what do you want? Death by poison or death by fire? I don't want either of those choices. Oh, this is like one of those Telltale games when it's just like, the screen freezes and I assume there's no, because Misha will try to look to see if there's a door in the hallway or something that they can go through, but I assume there is no door. There is no such thing. It's just the hallway and they're in the middle of it, right?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's fine. I guess it's more fun if... Fuck it, okay? This is gonna fuck me up. They are going to run away from the man in the lab coat And they are going to run towards the other mannequin-like figure.
And as you run away from the man, you can see for a brief moment his face covered in shadow, looking panicked. And you just hear him start calling out, "No! Dangerous! Monster!" And finally, Misha's new word of the day, "Murder."
Oh boy. Also, can I correct a thing?
Yeah.
I want to, instead of going towards Lady, to be back and forth between them. Like going reach one and then going back.
And then as you turn away from the woman and back towards the man, you hear the same. And she starts to repeat the same words, their voices together, repeating them over and over and over again. And then more voices join in and start to say it. Murder. No. And then suddenly, with a rattle, this vision disappears. The man and the woman in the hallway are gone, but the remaining voices aren't. And you can hear slam, 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 something hard hitting against the front door of Henrenheide Castle.
So Misha's hearing a pounding at the door?
Yes.
Well, I think it will take like a while for Misha to register what's going on. They will, for a while, just sit there, kind of like try to like cover their ears as they have all of these events happen to them. I assume that it keeps pounding, even,
It keeps pounding at this big door at the front of Henrenheide Castle, and you hear the crowd get louder and louder, which is odd. Again, if the Iron Wind is out, only people who are really determined would be out at night. You wonder for a second if it's like the man and the woman who just disappeared, but then FaZe appears, and no, they're very real. Because FaZe runs up to you and says, Misha, stay away from the door!
FaZe, I'm sorry. My apologies. I did not mean to come here. I wanted to explore, and then I'm sorry. My apologies, FaZe.
FaZe, open up! Misha! And FaZe grabs you by the arm as the scarf actually slips off and starts grabbing things to barricade the door.
Oh, that's adorable.
Misha, it's all right.
It is not.
It's fine. It is okay. These people never knew up from down anyway. That's why I got along with them so well, because I don't either. FaZe, open up! But you can't stay here.
What do you mean I can't stay here in this room? My apologies. I will go back to my room and I will stay there.
No, listen, there's a back door. It leads to a safe passage down the Riage. Even the wind won't catch up with you. But you have to go now.
Do you want me to leave the castle?
No, I don't. And FaZe starts to whimper a little bit like a dog who's having someone go.
Oh no.
And then he eventually just sniffles up. He says, for your sake, yes. Yes, I do.
But I come back after the lady goes, right?
FaZe, we have till the count of 3, assuming you can count. And FaZe looks at the scarf, which has flown back to you, and looks at you and says, well, I don't think she's going to, And then suddenly FaZe just takes his paws and he wraps them around your back.
Aww. Misha will just stay there. They will be like, oh, what are you doing, FaZe?
It's it's something that Gabby taught me. It's called a hug.
Hug?
And then at that, FaZe is gonna push you off with their paws as your scarf kind of wraps around you and starts tugging you towards a different hallway, the back door of Henrenheide Castle, and says, all right, no, you have to leave. You have to leave.
I will come back. I will come back.
And as you run off with the scarf, FaZe just kind of sits down and looks at you like any other dog who knows that when you leave,
Oh no.
you're actually going to be gone forever. And fuck it. That's going to be the end of the first episode.
God. god, I almost teared up at this. Oh, I hate you, Kyle. I'm
Was it
actually
good?
tearing
Was
up.
it a good first episode?
What?
Did you like it?
It was. Yes. I'm actually tearing up. I hate you. No, it was like the Fox and the Hound. Oh, oh no, I hate you so much.
1920s. I'm gonna yeah. Sloop. Can you pull it up, then, David?
Let me see. Yep. Here it is.
I'm going after old dog voice. So Misha has canonically been speaking backwards this whole time in order to speak forwards.
Yes.
Is what we have just established. Oh.
This is
It's perfect though. It's almost like, when you first start learning another language, how you have to like translate it in your head.
It's like one of those things in like psychology, like you saw that those things where people put glasses that like flip their vision, and so at first everything is flipped, and then the brain like auto flips it, and then they take it off, and it's like. So that's why sometimes they speak backwards at night, because they're just speaking their language.
Oh God, I love it. All right.
I want to make it for a 4:00 golf appointment.
Yeah, space golf.
Space golf.
Atmosphere golf. It's out of this world. I want to make it clear that FaZe has a deeper voice now because he isn't older. He is no longer a puppy. He is a big old dog with a deep voice. And you just hear a voice from it say, "Yeah, you... Goldstone!" No, not Goldstone.
What the fuck? What is he doing here?
I need to come up with a better voice. You better. Yeah, you better. Oh, that's all I can think of. Yeah, what? Hey, yeah. Something like this. Here's the new voice.
I just realized the name of this castle. The last part in the name of this castle.
And run hide. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I just came up with the name randomly.
Well, I hate you.